What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Tattness podcast. Thanks for listening, as per usual, and we're going to get into some Halloween stuff again today, because it's been a while, and it is that time of year, so let's get right down into it. As promised, more Halloween stuff for you guys. Alright, so let's get into this Halloween shit, Halloween specials and whatnot, and before we fucking go into anything, I just want to hit you with something right now, my personal thoughts. And I don't know who's going to agree with me or disagree with me on this, and I don't really fucking care at this point. I'm just going to say this right now. I feel like the most underrated horror, I don't know if it's horror, but fuck me, is it ever good? I think the most underrated movie in that sense is 13 Ghosts.
Really?
I fucking love it.
I saw it once a couple years back. I was really late to the party because when it came out, I was too young and my mom wouldn't let me see it.
Oh, come on!
Yes, it was really good. And I think, like you said, it is underrated.
I fucking thought it was creepy as shit. Some of those ghosts are just so fucking out there. And just to look at them is like, no. Like that fucking cunt with the box on her head.
Oh, I don't remember it all.
She was like the witch. Holy fuck, dude. Like to scratch people and had that box on her fucking head. Holy fuck, was that creepy.
I don't remember her, unfortunately. The one that stands out the most in my mind was the young chick. I think she was like the prom queen or whatever.
Yeah, the one that slashed her fucking wrist.
Yeah, and she's in the bathtub,
yeah.
and the girl and the daughter's like, you know, using the water and that, and you just see her staring, and it's blood. It's like, oh
dude,
that really got me.
That was like sad to me. That wasn't even scary. That was just like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I felt really bad for that character. But that just showed me I was invested.
Oh,
and
for sure.
I really cared. And I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. And I feel like it's so underrated, personally. I think, like, it fucking doesn't get its due. And I think Matthew Lillard's fucking dope.
Oh, yeah.
Personally. I loved Hackers, so I loved him in that.
And he was in Scream, was he not?
Absolutely.
So
and in that, he fucking made me laugh so hard.
So he definitely has, like, a good pawn in that game, if you know what
I
I mean.
just loved in Scream how he's dying, and his main concern is that his parents are going to be pissed at him.
Fucking idiot.
I love that he's just kind of a doofus in every fucking movie.
He plays it well, what can you say?
Oh, he's fantastic, and I love him for it, so... the only movie I hold against him is that Scooby-Doo bullshit.
Oh, fuck that thing.
That's fucking awful.
You motherfucker.
And I haven't even seen it. I'm not a fan, so...
I hate to admit it, I did see the first two. The second one I saw in theaters with a friend. Yes, and I'm not a big Scooby-Doo fan, to be honest. I didn't like the cartoon growing up. It just didn't appeal to me. Like, the fucking dog just pisses me off. And I didn't understand stoners, you know, when you're a kid.
I dig the cartoon. It's just the movie I thought was fucking...
But Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it, and come on, she's hot.
Yeah,
yes,
so... please.
I'll take some of that.
That made it acceptable, but...
Yeah, she's gorgeous. She could do no wrong. So,
exactly.
There's that.
And hey, she was in a bunch of horror movies too. Don't forget, I Know What You Did Last Summer in The Grudge, so... I like that one.
I wasn't a fan.
No?
Like, not really. It was okay. I didn't hate it. I know everyone's gonna be like, this motherfucker, this salty piece of shit, hates everything. No, I don't. I didn't hate it. It was okay.
I liked it, so...
I just didn't love it, is all.
No, I liked it, so screw you.
I love Nightmare on Elm Street, and I love Halloween, so don't fucking email me saying I hate everything, because that's not true.
Alright, fair enough.
I like things that don't suck. How about that?
Fair enough, okay.
Fuck you, asshole!
I think Scream was pretty good for the first one, anyway.
No, I never liked Scream.
I didn't like the later ones that much, but the first one I thought was well done.
It was, but then they just got stupid.
I just like that was the intent. Is it was kind of Wes Craven taking the piss a little bit and making fun of the typical cliche horror movie shit. And I don't know if people got that. Some people, I think, obviously are really fucking aware. But then there's other people that I think are still so, like, it's over their head that they emphasize the sound when dude swings the knife, like that cutting the air sound, like that never happens.
No, and I hate to say it, you just got me thinking there, and I'm thinking, Christ, I'm one of those idiots. Shit.
Ain't that some shit? It is what it is. I mean, you know, it was Wes Craven kind of poking fun at the typical slasher flick and making fun of all the stereotypical shit that happens in all the horror movies. So it made me laugh, and it was still done in a way that you could laugh at it, but it still kind of made you paranoid. Like, you want to know who's behind all this. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was pretty cool, personally. Yeah. I thought that was kind of well done, and I love Wes Craven, so it's hard for him to do any wrong in my view.
Yep. So, fair enough, I'll give you that. I mean, you know, that's usually the case with a lot of film series. Usually the first one is, like, the be-all, end-all. But, I mean, the prime example I can think of where they actually got better as the sequels went along is Friday the 13th. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked the first one, especially the concept it wasn't Jason, it was his mother. But then it goes on to introduce Jason. So, you know, and I have said number 6 is my favorite because that's the one I first saw. And that's when Kane Hodder was Jason. So to me, that really appealed to me. But let's, like, go to, like, Nightmare on Elm Street. The first one is a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
By far. Yes, absolutely.
Hands down.
Like, you know, we had a darker Freddy in that one. For sure.
Yes, for sure.
He was less, I found as the series went along, Freddy's character got more comical and just more wisecracking smartass, and I like that too.
I know. I think people get so salty about that, but at the same time, if it wasn't for that, do you think that Freddy Krueger would be the pop culture icon that he is today?
No.
Or the fucking one that, like, fans go to the movies to see and actually cheer for rather than be afraid of?
No, I don't think he would have that effect.
So globally accepted as, like, the anti-hero at this point rather than the bad guy.
That's true.
And I think that's where the appeal comes from, you know. I grew up with Freddy. And to be honest with you, it's really funny. I had an absolute obsession, an infatuation with that motherfucker. Because I grew up in a time where he had his own TV show. In 1989, Freddy's Nightmares was on late at night. And I would fucking not be able to look away when that came on. As traumatized as I may have been by that hideous face, I couldn't look away. I was so fucking infatuated and obsessed with the feeling that that fucking character gave me that I needed to know more. I needed to understand why it was so traumatic for me to see him. And, you know, so I was obsessed. I would then want the cards, the trading cards that, you know, you get Nightmare on Elm Street cards. That were, it was a mix of all horror movies, Friday Night, stuff like that. But I would always want the packs on that off chance I'm going to get a Freddy card. Because I need to explore this further. I was one of those weird fucking kids where the more something traumatized me, the more I had to look into it. The more I had to fucking understand it and, like, investigate it and desensitize myself to it, I guess, to a degree. So I was obsessed with anything fucking Freddy Krueger related, and I still to this day have not shaken that because that's hands down my favorite. And then Myers, of course, is right up there. Sorry, I bust you in the knee with my chair.
Okay.
I'll take that as disrespect.
Breaking the fourth wall. But yeah, I love Myers as much as I love Freddy. Almost, it's like my secondary. But yeah, 13 Ghosts kind of came across to me as something that never gets mentioned, and I'm fucking tired of it. So it's like, we're going to talk about this. We're going to clear this up right now. And I'm sick of 13 Ghosts being slept on, because that's a good fucking movie, in my view.
It is.
I love it. I need to watch it again, because it's been years, and it's so good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time either, so I'd be down to watch that again.
I like everybody in it. I think they're all really well, versed in what they do, so.
All right, so going forward, what else you want to talk about? How about?
Well, we're going to do the Halloween specials. What TV shows had the absolute best Halloween specials?
Oh, man.
This is like a tournament, and like an elimination style tournament, in my view. That's the only way to settle this.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to start off with, as much as I don't like him, fucking guy, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
You hate Charlie Brown?
I liked it as a kid. But now I can't stand that little fucker. And I hate that girl Lucy on that show. She's so mean to him. Let him kick the damn football. I swear to God. Like, oh my Lord. But let's face it, every, holiday, you get, it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, you get, the Christmas special, all that. It's a mainstay of, American television.
I'm sure this is going to shock people to no fucking end, but I'm not a fucking fan either. There's a shock I fucking hate something else, right?
You don't say. All right. How about we'll go with another cartoon classic, Garfield's Halloween Adventure. I'm not familiar with this one, so some of these I don't really have a leg to stand on, but Garfield was around in the 80s, and you're an 80s kid, so you have more experience with this.
I do have more experience with this, but I will say this. The one thing I do recall about that is it's fucking stupid.
Probably was. It's for kids, okay?
I fucking hate that, too.
Yeah, well, it's for kids. And, what else we got? We're going to get into the bigger players of this, tournament. The Simpsons, the Treehouse of Horror TV specials.
See, now that to me already is top notch.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many of them, and they're all great. You can't really single out one, so.
It changes every year, which is fucking fantastic.
It is, so we're just gonna group them all into one general, episode,
But to be fair, at the same time, the ones that only had to stay the same and get played every year, really, that to me is kind of a testament to their fucking, solid work, because if you never have to change and it's the same special every fucking year, but it becomes tradition to watch it, you've done something right, obviously. Well, so, to their credit, and I know I sound negative all the fucking time because I'm not a fan of it, I'm going to give credit where it's due. They've obviously done something right. Just because I'm not a fan doesn't mean I'm a fucking stuck-up asshole and don't acknowledge when something,
works.
I may not be a fan of something, but I'm not oblivious to the fact that there's probably millions of people that disagree with me, and that's the way it goes. So, I understand that just because I don't necessarily care for it doesn't mean it's not good. So, don't fucking email me. Giving me the fucking business, because I understand shit. I'm not oblivious. Not everything is fucking created to cater to me. Believe it or not. I know, shocking, but fuck, I get it.
Yep. And how about South Park? The one that stands out to me is probably the first Halloween episode, which was Pink Eye. I love that one. And others.
The one that stands out to me is the one that Korn was on.
I was just going to say that.
Such a huge fan.
Yes.
And I still am. Fuck you.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. And that was a good episode. And I like how they did the different animation style for the members of Korn. That was really well done. Shout
out to my bro, fucking Brian. And I know Brian Welch very, very well. So
yeah. All right, and then Family Guy.
Yeah, I'm a fan. The first thing that comes to mind to me is ugly bitches.
Oh gosh, yep. Meg and her friends. Poor girls.
Fucking Peter's such a twat.
And last but not least, and I'm not as familiar again because I didn't grow up with it directly. I was too young to remember it, but I did remember seeing reruns of it, is Roseanne. I love Roseanne. That's a great fucking show. And their Halloween specials, man, I always look forward to it every year because they were so good. They were so fucking well thought out. And you could just tell that everybody involved had a blast. Well, yeah. I mean, I remember you telling me Roseanne Barr just loves Halloween.
Oh, they all do, yeah. They all had a blast with that. It was so evident that they were enjoying themselves when filming. And that's what made me like it so much, I think. They had so much creativity, and just each year you couldn't wait to see what they're going to do on this one, because it was so fun.
Yep. So, how do you want to start this tournament off?
I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead. I guess we'll go with who we've mentioned them in order of, and let them kind of go against each other.
Okay, well, I already said fuck Charlie Brown, and so did you.
But again, like I said, if it's tradition after all these years to watch that same fucking special over and over again, they must have done something right. So there has to be some good to it, even if I don't get it. It's obviously something fucking well done. So I think it deserves credit and can't be written off.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess we'll leave it as wholesome family fun, and Linus and his stupidity of waiting for the great pumpkin. Poor bastard waited all night and no pumpkin came for him.
And to me, again, it's that fact that it's tradition at this point for people to watch it every year. That has to count for something. If it sucked that bad, as much as I feel like I don't love it, sorry. But if it was as terrible as I view it, then do you think people would watch it every fucking year?
No, so it's got to have something to it. I think it's been around since the 60s, has it not? So
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's been around since the 60s.
I feel like we left some shows out that could fit in here, but at the same time, I kind of off the air made a rule that I didn't want anything that could be deemed like Halloween year round, like Scooby-Doo would have been cool. But to me, same with Addams Family, shit like that, it's kind of like year round. It's the same theme. Then when Halloween rolls around, you just add a little more Halloween shit to it.
Yeah, so that's a fair assessment.
So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to fucking, have something that just felt like it's not a Halloween special. It's just a typical, fucking regular show for them. Addams Family, Munsters, all that kind of shit, right? That would be typically Halloween year round, and then just add a little more Halloween element to it. I didn't think that was fair.
No.
To the shows that, typically are nothing like that, and then have to kind of go full on, give her tits when it comes to Halloween, so I thought it's only fair if we just keep it simple. And so, what do you think between Garfield and Charlie Brown?
Again, I'm going by the fact that I'm not too familiar with Garfield's Halloween special. I'm more familiar with it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. But I love Garfield. He's such a miserable prick.
They both have longevity. I'll give them that.
Yeah. And I did like the Garfield cartoon when I was a kid growing up. I mean, I probably obviously watched the reruns because I was born in the 90s, so...
I didn't hate the cartoon. I didn't love it, but I certainly didn't hate it either.
I had no problem with it. I'd watch it, but I didn't go out of my way, so...
Now, here's where I'm torn. If I had to go on longevity and what's tradition, I would have to give it to Charlie Brown. But if I have to go based on my preference, I have to go with Garfield.
Yeah. Just because he's been around, he's more... I find I can relate more to him. Like, who doesn't love a fat, gluttonous cat that's such a prick to his owner and his dog friend or brother, whatever you want to call him, what Odie is to him. And like I said, Charlie Brown is just, I don't know, it's been around forever. Just a side note, what really bothers me about the Charlie Brown show? The fucking adults in the show just have that
Well,
that bothered the shit out of me.
There's a reason for that. It's how we hear adults. We don't give a fuck what they have to say.
That's true.
Talk to me like that again and I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
Now...
Drove me insane, though.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because I've stated that I care more about Garfield and whatnot on an interest level. But at the end of the day, before anyone beats me to it and calls me out in an email, I'm gonna fucking pull a fast one on you assholes and not let you fucking pull that shit with me and say that this is not about my preference on cartoons. This is about what was the better Halloween special. So I have to be honest and say, when it comes to Garfield, I don't fucking remember literally a fucking thing about the Halloween special. Whereas, at least with Charlie Brown, I know it's about a stupid fucking pumpkin.
That's true.
And that little dipshit with the blanket shows up at one
Linus.
point. I love him. He's like the only one I like.
That's true. And Snoopy's pretty
Oh,
good.
I love Snoopy.
Charlie can fuck himself.
Don't fucking hate animals, but when it comes to humans, like, the only one I liked was that little dipshit with the fucking blanket.
Okay.
And maybe that fuckhead with the dirt cloud around him.
Pigpen.
Yeah. He's filth.
Oh my god.
And I kind of feel bad for him, so I have to kind of like him. He owns it, so. But when it comes to Garfield, I don't remember literally a fucking thing about the Halloween special at all. Like, not a fucking thing. That's not even an exaggeration.
Oh, well, I have to agree with you there, and I'm not just saying it just to agree with you, but...
So I have to give it to Charlie, honestly.
Well, fair enough, because it sticks. It's been around, it has longevity, and it has more pop culture references. A lot more people remember Linus waiting for that stupid fucking pumpkin than Garfield trick-or-treating. I think that's what it was about, basically.
Alright, fair enough. So, peace out, fucking Garfield. Mm-hmm. So now, Simpsons against South Park.
They're both on the same level, if you ask me. But...
I disagree.
Sorry, mate. I disagree entirely.
Okay, I'm just going to start by saying The Simpsons, they get creative. And yes, they take a lot of pop culture references, but it's been around a lot longer, and they are well known for their Treehouse of Horror specials. Every year, I remember I'd look forward to that. And those actually really got me as a kid. Like, I was actually legit like, oh my god.
Once again, I'm going to go down the tradition route, and that's where they land, in my view. And to your credit, yes, the creativity, amazing. The fact that it's tradition definitely helps.
Yes.
South Park, I'll give them that. It's uncensored. They can say whatever the fuck they want.
And they can get it a little more, a little more tongue-in-cheek.
And if you've ever heard me speak, I'm pretty fucking sure you understand I do appreciate uncensored, hence my show. But I gotta kind of give this one to The Simpsons, because they didn't need the uncensored. They didn't need to say vulgar shit. To be funny. Shock value. Right.
Again, going back to
They were clever.
Yes. I'm just going to say, going back to South Park's Pink Eye episode, there was a lot of shocking, references in there. Let's just say Cartman's Halloween costumes in the episode. I'm not going to get into too much detail about that, but that made me go, a little, ooh, was that a little too far? But
right, and the fact that Korn was on the one year, I love that, because it was to help them promote their new record and whatnot that was coming out.
Yeah.
Their 5th record. But The Simpsons never needed guests, appearances to get their Halloween shows over. They just it seemed like they were waiting and chomping at the bit all year for Halloween to come so they could do their thing.
Well, exactly.
And have a blast with it. And we looked forward to it every year. It was one of the highlights of Halloween, man. Candy and the fucking Simpsons. So.
And actually, just on a side note of that, episode 5, the Shining parody.
That was good.
Yes, the part when Homer does the infamous Jack Nicholson Here's Johnny scene. I remember on my 16th birthday, I went to a wax museum, and sure enough, there was a scene of that, so definitely has more impression.
Was that Niagara?
Yes, it was.
Of course it was, because I've been there. I lived there. So I know.
Well, there you go. I went there for my 16th, and that was part of it.
I used to smoke weed and then go in there and trip out.
Man.
Yeah, it was all so realistic looking, so.
Well, some of them are pretty, what the
They're very,
fuck?
yeah.
But some are really well done.
Some are fucking terribly well done.
Oh, gosh, yeah. But it's just funny when you see some and you're like, that doesn't even look like the fucking person.
Yeah. Some of them they got a little overambitious on. And I think Freddy Krueger always fucking ends up in that category of just, what the fuck is that?
But that's a hard one to do.
It's a very hard one to do.
It is, to get the burns and everything right.
It's terribly hard to do.
So.
Alright, so The Simpsons, I think, win that one. South
Hands
Park's
down.
out. So now we got Family Guy versus Roseanne.
Oh, another cartoon versus, well, they're all cartoons except Roseanne here. But, okay, I'm gonna go, Roseanne, I don't have too much experience with this, so I apologize. I just remember seeing the odd Halloween episode here and there, but the one that I remember is actually when Roseanne was pregnant with Jerome, the baby, and that one stuck out in my mind. So, Jerry?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, my bad. So, that one stuck out, and that was really good. So, and the whole cast just seemed to have a lot of fun with that. So, but
all of them were great. In
Yes.
my view, they were all really good. And again, the only thing that stands out in my mind about Family Guy Halloween is ugly bitches.
Yep.
Which is fucking hysterical.
It is. That was good. And then the fact that Meg makes out with her own brother, like, fuck me, that is a nightmare.
But, again, that's the only one that stands out.
Exactly. So, what are your thoughts?
I have to go with Roseanne on this one, just because I remember a lot of those Halloween specials, and they still hold up today. They're still fantastic. They're still watchable today. And I'm not saying Family Guy's not. It's just, what have they done for me lately kind of deal.
Yeah.
And Roseanne, to this day, even though that was like the fucking 90s, it still holds up. It's still fantastic. It's still really well done. So...
Well, they're classics, so how can you argue that? I mean, and let's face it, a lot of Family Guy's humor comes from, like, fart jokes and whatnot, so... But, hey, don't get me wrong, I do love me some Family Guy. I remember it starting when it first came out, and then it was off the air for a bit, and then I didn't like it, but now I find it funny again. Maybe my humor just got really out of control.
Alright, so we're down now. It's between Charlie Brown, Simpsons, and Roseanne.
Oh.
It's a triple threat match now for the Halloween fucking royalty.
Okay, well... Sorry, Charlie needs to just die in a fire here.
Yeah,
they have no ground to stand on here.
I think all of them have the tradition thing working in their favor.
Yes.
And he's the only one that never changes each year. So therefore, for lack of creativity, he's automatically eliminated. And it is now between The Simpsons and Roseanne.
Oh, shit, why you do this to me?
It's fuck you. I grew up with both, vividly remembering, and still in the later 2000s, like, as of, like, a year ago, maybe, still watching both. So, it's gonna be hard on me to decide which one takes this ultimately.
Oh, man. I'm gonna have to go with Simpsons here. As much as I love Roseanne, Simpsons, it's still on the air, and but you can argue Roseanne is back on the air. They did come back, and now, unfortunately, they removed Roseanne Barr from the lineup. So, it is still on TV. It's still holding a presence, but let's face it, Simpsons Treehouse of Horror always... personally got me, so I have to give it to The Simpsons here. I'm sorry, Roseanne.
Again, both have the tradition aspect working for them. And they both have creativity working for them.
Yes.
However, and now I grew up with both in the 80s, so it's really a hard decision for me.
Well,
I grew up with watching The Simpsons on the Tracy Ullman show, and it was like a 60-second long little cartoon. Yeah, I'm that old. Fuck you. Fuck all of you that are laughing right now. Too. I hear you assholes, no matter what part of the world you're in. I hear you laughing. Fuck you.
You asshole!
I'm just kidding. I love you. But... But I grew up with that, so there's that nostalgia. But I also grew up with Roseanne. And I think both were extremely creative, but I think The Simpsons were creative for longer. I think they had to be, and, you know, I do a lot of art, and I do this, and I do all this other shit, and I know how fucking difficult it can be to be creative, like, so frequently. And, you know, to do it once a week or more. So, to be that creative, I think, really warrants a lot of credit for that kind of amount of years that have gone by, and they're still that fucking creative. I have to give it to The Simpsons, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that's a fair enough judgment, and I think a lot of listeners are going to agree with us on that. In fact, I'm really curious now. I think I'm going to go look up what this year's Treehouse of Horror episode is about. So, there you have it.
I really like it. I think it was close. I think everybody held out pretty well. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I mean, naturally, I think The Simpsons were going to take it. I think everyone saw that coming.
Yeah.
So, thankfully, that's not the only segment I have planned for this fucking show. Mm-hmm. I want to get into movies that somehow, some way, people mistake as horror, and I disagree. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's horror. I don't think it's classified as horror. I don't think they should be horror, but maybe people listening will disagree. Maybe they will say, fuck you, it's horror, and they'll explain to me why, rather than just being dicks.
Fair.
I'm just, you know what? I've never had anybody yet email me being a dick, so that's cool. So, I'm just teasing you guys. Nobody's been disrespectful, actually, at this point, which is really nice. Everyone's been super cool, and I appreciate that. And everyone's able to express their opinions without being rude about it or feeling combative or, like, defensive. Because I think people know that when I say something, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it's how I feel. So, let's talk about fucking movies that people classify as horror that we just don't feel are horror. And I'm going to start this off by talking about this documentary coming out that looks really cool. Mm-hmm. I'm so stoked about it. It's about 80s horror movies, and I'm so jazzed. Except the one thing that threw me off was that Beetlejuice is mentioned in it, and clips and shit from the movie. How the fuck is Beetlejuice horror?
No idea. I never classified that movie as a horror. I just thought it was just a very odd, just good fun. Like, you know, it may have had some weird bits. Let's face it, Tim Burton is really out there with his creativity.
I love Tim Burton, everything. Mm-hmm. Like, just the backgrounds and stuff that he comes up with. Mm-hmm. For some reason, it just really grabs me, and I think because I grew up as a Beetlejuice fan. I always loved Michael Keaton, I think, as a kid as well. I remember that year, the Masters of the Universe movie came out, the He-Man movie, and Beetlejuice, and I wanted to see both in the theater, and guess what? My old man took me to see fucking none.
Oh, not even Masters of the Universe.
Not even, and I was such a fucking He-Man fan, and everyone knew this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But shout out to my Aunt Sandra, who I love dearly, let me watch Beetlejuice at her place because I didn't get to see it in the theater, and it was so good. And then I went to my Aunt Kathy's place, and we watched it, and played Mario all night, and ate pizza, and had a blast. And, yeah, you know what? At 7 years old, 7 years old, it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Mm-hmm. But it's not a fucking horror movie.
Not even close. I don't know where the hell they get that from.
I don't know, but then also Predator. To me,
that's an action sci-fi.
Yeah, to me that's sci-fi. It's not horror.
Yeah, so...
Like, I do get that, you know, it scares the shit out of people, but I just don't view it as horror.
No.
Just like Aliens. That's sci-fi to me.
Yeah, I agree. Both of them. Gremlins. That's another...
Yeah, where the fuck do people get off saying that Gremlins is a horror?
It's not even a horror movie. I don't friggin' know. I just scratch my head at that. But, what about Stephen King's Misery?
I don't really feel like that's a horror either.
It's more of a thriller, because a psychological thriller, because Kathy Bates' character is so friggin' insane. You're like, damn, this bitch be crazy.
I think that's actually a spot-on comparison.
It's a psychological thriller.
I think so.
I mean, the idea, what stuff she does to poor fucking James Caan's character is just like, oh my god, but it's not a horror movie. So
no, it's not. It's not graphic. It's not like horror based in my view. It's fucked up.
Well, even though Stephen King is considered a horror writer, but I don't think that one is.
I just never really saw a whole lot of his shit that really came across like horror.
No, so that one I don't agree with myself. The Purge. Okay, we both looked this up before we recorded this. And
I was curious.
it's under different types of horror. It's not horror per se.
Yeah.
You get horror thriller, horror suspense. It's stupid. It's not a horror movie. I'm sorry. I gotta let this out. I fucking hate the Purge movies. I think they're stupid. The whole concept is stupid. I'm sorry. If there's ever a Purge, I'd be the smart fucker that gets up on the roof of my place with a fucking sniper rifle and a 24 case of beer and just pluck off any dumb fucks that want to come to my door.
I gotta tell you, and people are gonna be like, what the fuck? I've never seen any of them. Not even the first one.
The first one was enough, and then I'm just like, please kill me. This is just getting stupid.
I've not seen any of them
Don't.
at all.
Do yourself the favor. Don't.
I feel like I was doing myself the favor by not, but I've also seen some shit that other people might be like, what? Really? That movie sucked.
Yeah.
Dracula 2000, for example. Have you seen that?
I think I have, and I don't remember too much. Wasn't Gerard Butler in it? I swear to God he was.
I don't know about all that, but my homeboy was in it, John Davis.
Oh, shit, he was?
Yes, very brief spot.
Oh.
Which was really cool because at that time, Queen of the Damned was out as well, and he was so heavily involved in that.
Shit.
I believe it was Dracula 2000. He had a brief part in where he was a scalper, a ticket scalper, and fucking, I loved it. I was like, that's so dope.
Yep, actually, Gerard Butler's in it.
Okay.
Christopher Plummer, Johnny Lee Miller.
Yep.
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 Oh.
And John Davis.
John Davis. Oh, this is just going by the top billing here. No discredit to Mr. John Davis himself, but...
I need to know that he's in it, though.
I don't see... Oh, Jerry Ryan's in it. I didn't know that.
Fuck right off.
Dude, he's not in the billing here.
I know. He won't be, which is so stupid.
So, fuck that. But I did see it, and I didn't mind it, to be honest. So
I loved it.
I had no problem with it. What about horror remakes?
What about him? I love him.
Well, what about ones that you think... oh, wait, sorry, my bad. Here's another one that we forgot to include in here. The Fly.
Yeah, I don't know how... I feel like it's sci-fi.
Yeah, because the whole concept of gene splicing and that's like a science project gone wrong thing. It is creepy as fuck to see Jeff Goldblum just turn into this weird fucking fly creature thing. And let's face it, when he fucking spits acid on the poor bastard's hand and it melts off, that
was gnarly. And
oh my god, that part got me every
I was just a
fucking
child
time.
when I saw that.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, by the way, you know who else is in Dracula 2000 who's fine as hell?
Who?
That Vitamin C chick.
Oh shit, I don't know her name, but okay.
Yeah, Vitamin C. That chick, that musician chick. Mm-hmm. Yowzers in my trousers, bro. I'm just putting that out there. I don't even know why. But now people know that I think she's fine as hell.
Well, there are your secrets out now.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Alright, but going back to what I was just saying, horror movie remakes. You said you like them. What are some
of them?
Some of them.
Some are awful. Mm-hmm. Some are redundant and just blatant cash grabs. Mm-hmm. And I fucking am insulted by that, because why would I watch that bullshit? You know, but sometimes you have to watch it to find out, so unfortunately. Some of them, like I said, are exact duplicates of the original. Mm-hmm. Psycho, prime example.
Oh, yes. Like, did they even change anything in that?
There was literally 2 words in the script that were added that weren't in the original, but that's it.
Wow, you gotta be kidding me.
It was otherwise word for word, verbatim, the same script.
That is laziness at its finest.
And I know that for a fact because in 1999 or 2000, I got high as a kite smoking all the green with my buddy Sean. And we watched the original version on TV. It was like 2 a.m. and it was on, and then immediately after that was the fucking Vince Vaughn remake, and the script was word for word verbatim the same, except they added 2 words to it.
Didn't even try to like make it their own.
Not at all.
Wow, that I have no words for that. And I've seen the original. I don't think I've seen the Vince Vaughn version.
When you smoke enough fucking weed, you have this unreal attention to detail. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I noticed. And I pointed out to Sean, and Sean was like, yeah, dude, they haven't changed a fucking thing. Shit. Except for 2 scenes where they changed, like, they added a word to the script twice. And that was literally it. Otherwise, even down to the ending, it was the same fucking dialogue.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's bad.
It's like they just bought the fucking original script and just read it.
Mm-hmm. Yeesh. I want to go on here. Friday the 13th. Okay, it was a remake, but it's not a remake, a true remake of the first movie. Because, as you all know, the very first Friday the 13th movie, it was Pamela Voorhees was the killer.
Right.
In this one, I guess Pamela's already dead, long gone. So it's a different concept.
I feel like this one was like 1 through 3 combined.
I think you're right, because we did have the sackhead Jason.
Yeah.
Jason gets his hockey mask there. And there was actually the part, it wasn't really directly in the originals, but the chick where Jason believes is his sister. His mother, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was the guy's sister. So, actually, in part 2, Ginny, the female survivor of the movie, does pretend to be his mother just so she can cut off Jason's head.
Absolutely.
So there's that link there. So it definitely was a combination of the first 3 movies. Good concept, but I personally didn't like it because I found it was too dark.
It was filmed very dark.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
It's hard to see what's happening.
And that drove me friggin' insane.
I do hold that against it. Otherwise, I thought the movie was really good.
Yeah, I mean,
I liked it, personally.
I'm just stubborn in my ways. Like I said, maybe if it wasn't filmed as dark, where I'm squinting to figure out what the fuck's going on, I probably would have liked it more. But definitely the concept of combining those 3 definitely made it its own standalone entry in the film series.
We're still talking about Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah, but...
Okay, then, while we're on that subject, because I don't want to segue too far, since we're on that subject, I just want to say, Roy, your mom's a hoe.
You gotta get that in there.
Fuck Roy.
There you go. Fuck Roy.
Hashtag fuck Roy on Twitter. I want to see that blow up. I want to see that become worldwide the biggest thing on Twitter. Hashtag fuck Roy. Your mom's a hoe.
There you go. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
I loved it. And I know people are going to be so pissed at me for saying that, but I loved it. Because I didn't compare it to the original. I didn't fucking try to be like apples to oranges. I was just like, I'm going to watch this as its own thing. Mm-hmm. And I liked it.
See, I made the stupid mistake. Stubborn in my ways. I'm like, that's not Robert Englund. I don't like how this Freddy looks because they did the CGI shit, not the traditional makeup effects. And I didn't like it. So I'm sorry. That's just my own stubborn ways. If I didn't probably watch Nightmare on Elm Street original and was so loyal and true to the original series, maybe I would have liked it.
I feel like there's probably at least 1 or 2 fuckheads out there that think that I just say the shit that I say to be different. But this is my true opinion. And I'm not knocking you for your opinion because it takes all types to make the world go round.
Well, exactly.
So I don't fault you for being much like a lot of people and hating the fucking reboot. Mm-hmm. I liked it, personally. I fucking did. I thought it was dark. I thought it was well done in terms of acting. I thought that he made the character his own while keeping it familiar at the same time. And I think that is extremely hard to do. I compare that to music. I compare that to Corey Taylor doing Stone Sour and trying not to sound like Slipknot. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, it's got to be extremely hard to do, but somehow pulled it off.
Well, there you go. Exactly. All right. Well, I'll go with a horror remake that I actually did like. Was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake with Jessica Biel. I really liked that one. I saw it in theaters. I liked it a lot. I know you're not a fan of that film because of the gore factor and that.
I don't like gore.
I know you don't.
I'm a total Nancy boy when it comes to gore. I just don't dig it.
But here's the thing. I think in this case, I didn't really watch the original. I did, but I didn't have too much expectations going into it. I think because it was a larger budget and it's just the whole shock. I I think I was 12 or 13 when it came out. So, it was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But I actually really liked it. It really, it got me. So it did have the shock factor of the original 70s version, because that's created a lot of controversy when it came out.
Evil Dead's remake was really graphic. It was so well done and very dark, but fuck was it graphic.
I don't have an opinion on that, unfortunately. I didn't. I don't think I did see it, or I did, and I can't remember fuck all, so I can't
If you saw it, you'd remember. It's so gory.
Yeah, so I don't have an opinion on it. Sorry.
The end was so bad.
Okay, Halloween. I like the remake. I like them both.
Love it.
I like them both. They were both...
The 2018 was amazing.
It was, absolutely.
Saw it in the theater. Don't regret it. Fantastic.
So they're both good, and I think they did a fantastic job. I didn't hate it. So
I loved it.
Me too. So that one, I have to say, both of them, they did great, and it did really well. And I think what really helped is the original cast members returning, Jamie Lee Curtis and Nick Castle.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, we couldn't have Donald Pleasance in there. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
But there was a nod to him in the film, which I really thought was awesome.
I miss him.
That's a big one.
The first one I thought was okay. The second one I haven't seen, and I don't want to, because I heard it was like 3 hours damn near. And I just don't really feel like that's necessary.
No.
And I didn't hear overwhelmingly great things, so there's that.
Well, here's the thing. The original one was a mini-series, was it not? With Tim Curry. And I think that thing was fucking 3 or 6 hours long.
That's why there won't be a part 3. They squeezed the last 2 parts into one and made it like almost 3 hours.
And it is a very long novel. I tried to read it and I gave up. I'm like, fuck this. I don't have patience for 2,000 pages. And going from the first because like you said, you haven't seen the second one. I haven't either, because I can't sit there for 3 hours. I'll go insane.
No.
So, it's too hard to compare the two Pennywises. They both have their own qualities that make them great. Like, both actors, Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård. Sorry if I said his name wrong. Come and shoot me if you want. But,
I'd rather you didn't, but if it's all the same to y'all.
But they're different types of clowns.
Right.
Tim Curry's is more the classic bozo appearance.
Right,
with
right.
The
I
fangs.
think the new one's definitely creepier looking.
It is, because it's like a weird Victorian kind of clown.
Right.
Just, ugh. Like, the Tim Curry one's kind of like, oh, bozo. And then, oh, fuck, he has teeth. You know what I mean?
Okay, we're getting down to the last few minutes here, so let's get this moving. Amityville Horror.
I like them both, and I like the remake a lot. Not because Ryan Reynolds in it, and, whatever, but they were both good. And let's just face it, that movie scares the shit out of me, even to this day.
Yeah, it's creepy as shit, and,
Well, anything among those lines, like, spirits and houses and that just don't sit well with me, so they're both good.
I would kind of like to see a reboot of Poltergeist, to be honest.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
And I know people are mad as fuck about all the reboots.
Wait, hold on. Wasn't there a remake in the works, or there was one?
I don't know.
Actually, I think there was one.
Really?
But it's so forgettable that...
I don't even know about it. So.
I'm pretty sure there was one, and it's just, like I said, so forgettable that
doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't cross our minds. So.
I mean, I would like to see it done by, like, Blumhouse.
Mm-hmm. Like, they did the new, 2015. I just confirmed it, so that's when it came out. So, that's pretty bad you don't remember it.
I never even knew it existed, honestly.
It did, but it was not...
So, it obviously was straight to DVD or something, and it didn't get advertising.
It didn't. It was crap. I will admit it. Like, of course, how are you going to replace Carol Ann's character?
I know.
That's hard, I love her.
I loved that girl.
Heather O'Rourke. Oh man, she just a sweetheart. But unfortunately, maybe they need to do another reboot of that. One that's not forgettable.
I've already touched on the Pet Cemetery thing and how it was basically a cash grab.
Yeah.
Because the rights are coming due to go back to Stephen King, so they figured, okay, well, we'll milk this for all we can get out of it before we give the rights back.
Yeah.
As a movie production company, and that's what they fucking do. So I've already touched on that. We don't really need to get into that too much. Carrie.
There's 3 of them. There's the original with Sissy Spacek, which was the best in my opinion.
Fantastic, yes.
Then you have one in the 2001, I believe, and I can't even remember who the hell was in it. I know they were in films, but it wasn't that good. I did see it. And then they had another one not too long ago, and...
Are you talking about the second one, though?
No.
Okay.
There was another remake with the chick, actually the little girl in the Amityville Horror remake, Chloe Grace Martinez, I think her name is. She plays Carrie in this third remake, and I heard that one was worse. It's like, it started strong and then unfortunately just went downhill.
Do you have any idea how pissed people are going to be when I say this, but Carrie 2, I thought was dope.
I didn't see it, so...
I liked it.
Hey.
I fucking liked it. So,
no.
Anytime I could see a kid from the show Home Improvement get a harpoon gun to the beanbag, I'm on board.
Which kid was it? Was it Jonathan Taylor
No,
Thomas?
it was the older one.
I don't even know what the fuck his name is.
Zachary Ty Bryan. He got a fucking spear gun right through the nutsack.
Oh, shit.
Fired his beanbag right into the pool.
Wow.
Because she did it with her mind, because he tried to fire it at her. And then she fucking used her mind to just, like, fire it through his nutsack.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, buddy.
That's brutal.
That is fucking senseless violence at its best. And, yes, it was good. And I don't like gore, but it was so stupid that it was great.
You have something against that poor kid from Home Improvement?
No, not really. It just wasn't the best. Well... no. I mean, he wasn't the worst kid on the show either, so. Before we wrap this up, I do want to say another, in my view, underrated horror movie that I think is horror, but it might not be. Urban Legend. I thought that was dope.
I remember I saw that. That was really good, actually.
I loved it. I thought it was super good.
I guess it's one of those obscure ones because I didn't really know about it until you told me about it.
I feel it's super underrated, and it was big in its time, 1999, I believe, 98, 99, and I thought it was super good, and I think it got slept on a little bit by some people these days. The Others was actually really good, too, and I don't know if that's considered well, that's not horror.
No, it's a thriller, but it's a good movie.
Now, here's that weird area I wanted to talk about. Guess what movie was rated the same as The Others?
What?
The Ring. They're both PG-13. How the fuck are you going to call one horror and not the other?
I have no idea how the rating system works, but that doesn't
They're
make
both
much sense to me.
PG-13. That's why The Ring doesn't really stand out to me as like a horror, like, oh, it's
I remember we
terrifying.
touched upon that.
Yeah, that's what now, I'm coming back to it because now I know the rating of it, and I'm like, that's why it didn't seem like a horror movie to me, is it's fucking PG-13. So if you're 14 years old, you can get in the theater to see this fucking thing.
Yeah, not worth it, man. Not my cup of tea.
Not terrible, not great. What else we got? Hills Have Eyes. That was a remake that I never saw.
I didn't see either, so I think we can safely skip this one. But here's one that's probably is a really good contender, is Child's Play.
Yes, I have not seen the new one yet, but I heard good things. I do like the changes they made. I think it's intriguing, to say the least.
It's definitely different. I mean, now it's more technology-based versus, like, witchcraft.
Well, what's different to me that stands out is that Chucky is kind of a sympathetic character now, where you feel bad for him because he doesn't want to hurt people. He's programmed to get the approval of the child that he's given to. And there's a part that I heard about where he witnesses that kid and his friends getting sheer excitement and joy out of watching a horror movie, watching people get stabbed and shit. So this doll fucking picks up on that and thinks that they would enjoy violence directed at them then. And he aims to please. So he grabs a knife and starts trying to cut the fucking kid. You know what I mean? Like,
That's messed up.
Because he thinks he's pleasing them, by giving them what obviously he's trying to understand human mannerisms and what makes humans tick and why we get entertainment out of people harming each other or, fucking violence towards other people. So he automatically thought that they enjoy violence towards them as well. So it's so crazy because it's such a a change from the original. But I like the difference. I like that it's a different approach.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it either, but that different approach would definitely give it a refreshing view.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see it now just based on that angle. When I initially thought it was just like an AI thing where it just controls everything, I was like, this is dumb and I'm not interested. But once I realized that angle of it, where he's like just trying to fit in with, you know, and please his human and protect, like he ends up killing so many people because they're assholes to the kid. And that's all his motive is like his job is to protect the kid even from emotional fucking damage and harm. And, you know, I was like, that's so fucking different.
It is, because considering the original movie, he wanted to take over Andy's body,
So it's got me intrigued, to say the least. And I've heard good reviews, so
I'll give it a chance.
I do want to check it out.
Give it the chance, for sure. And just maybe, like, not, like, do what I always do, and I go in like, oh, this is not, you know, Child's Play or Friday the 13th.
Never go in with preconceived notions.
I have that problem, so I'm gonna have to watch myself when I see that.
The furthest I got was when Rob Zombie did the remake of Halloween, the reboot. I said, if he fucks this up, I'm going to find his address on the internet, and I'm going to fly out there and punch him in his dick. That was all I said, but I didn't go into it saying, this is going to suck, and blah, blah, blah. And I actually enjoyed it. I did. I thought it was good. So, fight me if you fucking think I'm wrong.
I just want you to know that I will throw you down the stairs.
No.
And no, not you. These people. I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, that movie sucked, and now you suck for saying that. Well, fuck, man. Like, I have my opinions, so there's that. You know, have you considered that? Maybe you should.
Well, there you go.
I'm just fucking with you. I don't care. You can be as mad as me, you know, as you want at me. I don't fucking care. It is what it is. It's a fucking movie, and I dig it. Like, shit.
Alright. Before we wrap this up, one quick one left. Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, that was a remake, too.
Yeah, it was. And,
not really a big zombie movie guy.
Me neither, but
They're so one-dimensional in my view.
It was, and like, I hate to say it, the new one did focus more on the gore.
Yeah, so, again, not for me. I prefer something of substance. And gore has its place, don't get me wrong. I'm not a fucking absolute vagina. Gore has its place, but, you know, in moderation, and story should not be second to gore, in my view. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
So, I was never a big fucking zombie guy.
No, me neither. It's just always the same formula repackaged over and
It really
over again.
is. And how much can you really do? Except for Zombieland, that was dope.
That was a good one.
it.
I saw that in theaters. I really liked that.
I can't wait to see the new one. I love
Woody
it.
Harrelson.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
He's the shit.
I fucking think he's great. So, anyways, let's wrap this shit up. So the Simpsons won the tournament.
Yep.
And they are still unbeaten kings in my view. They fucking are always gonna be stiff competition for the Halloween specials, I think. Anything you want to add to this before I wrap this up?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything.
Alright then, well then I'll catch your asses down the line, man.
Alright, we'll see you next time.